How's everyone doing?
Good.
Awesome. Where are you guys all from?
Central Florida, you're the constituent from your area.
Awesome.
So first of all, I know you're super busy. Thank you for taking the time for being here. So all of them are activists from American for Prosperity, all of them, and us are here to say thank you for being a policy champion in 2019. You were an A+ in our scorecard. So we are here to present the plaque. Someone from your area is going to have to present the plaque.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Aww. That's great. Can we get a picture?
Yes. It's going to be a group picture.
Yes.
Can I get it?
Well, yeah, I mean, the ideas of liberty and freedom that you guys stand for go way back with me, back to the, one of my proudest moments in the years I've served was being, I know an affiliated group, Americans for Prosperity Legislative of the Year in 2012.
Yep.
I was presented the award. Yep. And since then, working with your team here, Skylar, and Chris Hudson before that, is you guys have really been there. And as you know, I've taken on some controversial legislation, right. And you guys, in fighting these battles, I mean, I'm talking about like the one with the unions, having people outside my office picketing. I had a threat to my family over this for 5 days. Law enforcement outside my house rotating every hour, 24 hours a day. Throughout all these battles, you guys are there spreading the message here at the Capitol. And even, I remember after one of these battles, a nice surprise finding mail in my district.
Yes.
Okay, to have my back, and it, that was with Americans for Prosperity. You guys are all, I know, affiliated, but we're all fighting the same battles. We're fighting for, you know, our founding principles, us being able to have direction and control of our own life, and not government running our lives for us, like happened in so many places in our world. So I really appreciate everything you guys do, and it really does make a difference.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much. You were beyond and above everything of our expectations, and again, we brought all this community to say thank you for being a policy champion in State Rep. Okay.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Can we get you over there too?
Yes. Oh yeah. Take this and be a great picture. You want
Utilization, everything. Everybody's busy, and we just want to come by and say hello and thank you for being a policy champion during 2019. You are an A+ on our scorecard. So we brought people from your area to say thank you and to present the plaque.
Wow.
On behalf of Americans for Prosperity, it gives me great pleasure to present this to you for supporting the outstanding principles that we all care so deeply about.
Thank you.
Maybe it's basically something built in to protect the pharmaceutical industry. I mean, these things happen, and this is just my wheelhouse. So thank you all very much, and I hope you have a good time while you're up here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, group picture. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try and get everyone in that corner. I'm gonna stand in this corner and take a picture.
See you.
Well, thank you for coming. So hopefully you're spending a whole day at it, looking around, getting to see everything.
Yes.
All right, I think we're on the floor today at 1:30. That can be a little bit boring, but there'll be some fun debate. So today we're going to read the bills and there'll be debate. I don't think we're going to be questions. Yeah, just questions. So there won't be any votes happening today. As you guys know, the big part of this process is the committee weeks that happen. Well, they're still happening. There's some of the big committees and appropriations are still meeting. Issues usually get worked out even before committees start to meet. And then in committee is when they're heard and you kind of start putting amendments on to kind of build a coalition to support it. And then it gets advanced up through 1, 2, 3, 4 committees, and then it's ready to be heard on the floor. So if you ever wonder, if you've ever watched it and wondering why none of us are paying attention when a bill is being presented on the floor, is that most of us have heard these same arguments 4 times already, and we know that what the words are going to be. Correct. But some of us pay attention because we want to make sure that people are at their desk at the right time, that they vote the right way, that they're paying at least some attention to the process. But it's kind of a fun thing. I enjoy it. You guys are probably also aware of my 607, the Advanced Practice Registered Nurse Bill, which you all signed on to as being a supporter. I'm very happy about that. I'm very thankful about that. I always go back and tell people in my home district that AFP has been the easiest group to work with, not because you have to convince me of anything, but we kind of already agree going into it. So naturally, I find this, you are my peeps, if I were to say this, in terms of the way you think is the way I think, which sometimes raises some people's cackles, right? I'm all about trying to identify, is there something in what we do in the government or something we touch where we're raising costs, raising prices because of comfortable relationships with certain industries or certain groups. I call cost drivers. I try to identify cost drivers, and if it's not helping us, if it's not beneficial, let's get rid of it. But you know, when you do that, you know, our waste is someone else's main income. So they guard it pretty strenuously. So I've been working with the speaker on this bill 607 this year, which would grant a pathway to autonomous practice for certain advanced practice registered nurses. In the great scheme of things, it's probably not a huge issue. But if you think about what I want to do, and my goal is to try to keep healthcare premiums affordable, because that's what we want. We want affordable healthcare premiums. Well, to get there, we have to look at what do we pay out in claims, because the insurance company, as much as we hate our insurance company, look, it's not a complex business. You collect a premium, you pay a claim, and you make your overhead and some profit. I mean, that's the way we do things in America. So I can't really vilify them that much. But what I like to look at is at the claims paid. Is there something that we're paying for that isn't helping us? It's not benefiting us. And a lot of what we do in the Republican caucus is try to take what we have in terms of healthcare, and if there's a cost driver, let's eliminate it, and let's incentivize consumers to make the right decisions. So to that end, there's a lot of efforts in the Florida House and from Speaker Oliva to enhance transparency in dealing with healthcare, particularly hospitals. Initially, the hospitals resisted it. This year. They're on as a supporter of those kind of transparency. Pricing transparency, getting a quote and knowing that the price ultimately charged is going to be at that quote. Allowing insurance companies that if you incur a savings because you decide that this facility has the same quality as that facility, but the charges are less, well, let me go over there. And if I save the payer, maybe I get a percentage of that saving. You know, things that incentivize correct decision making. A pathway other than what you hear a lot of people talk about, let's just move to Medicare for all. Let's have a wholesale government take over the healthcare industry. It's not a direction I'd like to go. So to that end, our caucus here in Florida has been trying to increase transparency, remove cost drivers. And so let's bring it back to home. Why do I care so much about advanced practice registered nurses? Well, they're not doctors, but they do primary care. They do a lot of good stuff. And currently we have built in a statute, and this is the key point, because you guys with AFP understand this. Built into statute is a requirement they be supervised. Pretty innocuous, right? I mean, we all have supervision. I mean, none of us does anything without supervision. It sounds like the most natural thing in the world. Except when you have a duty built in a statute, it's not unreasonable to assume that the supervisor will charge a fee to the supervised. Natural. I mean, this is business world. We serve duties. We do actions. It's a reasonable thing to have happen. But what's happened is that those charges have gotten high. And you got to know in healthcare, any charge that's in the process is going to be passed along to the consumer. Now, in that your tax dollars pays 40% of what's paid out in Medicaid, that means it's coming out of your property taxes. In that you may be part of a health plan, that's part of your premiums that you're paying. And if you're a state employee, and Florida is a huge employer, so we are a big employment agency who has a health plan, it drives up the cost of running business, of running government. So what I was able to establish, and not just me alone, but many people have, including you all, is that supervision, in that it costs a certain amount of time and a certain amount of money doesn't seem to be causing any better outcome. We have 30 other states that don't do it, and they have the same outcome. Well, now, wait a minute. If there's a cost driver in healthcare that's not improving healthcare, why are we paying it? I mean, I gotta tell you, we doctors do very well. We don't need additional subsidies. We may want additional subsidies, but we don't need it. And that's what our job is here. So it's identifying something that's raising costs that isn't really been beneficial. Well, let's get rid of the statute that requires it. Doesn't take away teams. You still want to work with other people. No one wants to work by themselves. They want to be part of a team. It just takes away that little language. Now, what I want you to do, and you guys in your organization are aware of this, there's tons and tons of things written into statute which drives, I don't want to say behavior, but sets up requirements like that. And there's a lot of people who profit off that. I mean, the people who live in Tallahasse, Washington, D.C., this is the stuff they live for, right? Oh, well, there's a little niche I can get involved with, and that'll be my nut that'll take care of it. So it takes folks like me, folks like you, who support people like me, to ferret those things out and get rid of them, unless they're helping Floridians. So that was a very long-winded explanation for why we do what we do. And at the end of the day, what's the goal? Keep premiums affordable.
Sure. First of all, thank you very much for this explanation, for explaining how is the process here in the Florida House. Thank you very much for taking the time today and meeting with all of us, all your constituents. And these are our AFP hardcore activists. They really believe in what we do. And because you have been a really good partner for us, you are an A+ in our scorecard, and that's the reason we are here representing this Black policy
Thank
champion.
Can we take a picture?
This means a great deal to me, because your guys' opinion is valuable. It means a lot to me. It means more than any contribution of money I'll get from anyone, because I know that your hearts and minds, your brains are in the right place. And keep working it, because if you don't keep, what's the word, activate? Not activating. If you don't keep, activists. If you don't keep up activism, then people up here in Tallahassee, people in Austin, people in Columbus, Ohio, pick your state capital, pick your federal capital, will do stuff that's going to benefit certain individuals, and we're going to be paying for it. That's why it pays. Be involved, be knowledgeable. And I got to tell you another thing. A lot of times people will talk about this easy answer or that easy answer. Always be critical, think it through. Maybe it is, but then maybe not.